Okay, this is our daily study of Pirkei Avot, the Mishnah Ethics of the Fathers, for those who have yard site for tonight, the 11th of Av, Zev Barish, Sophia Cohn, Pauline Ginsberg, Meyer Peltzman, Jacob Shurin, Katie Salsky, Abe Stofsky, Ben Wainstock, and Letty Zapeta. May their memory be for a blessing. A link to the text of the Mishnah will be in the first comment below. So we are up to chapter 5, Mishnah number 16. Kol ahava shehi teluya v'davar, batel davar batela ahava. V'she'ena teluya v'davar, ena batela la'olam. Ezo hi ahava teluya v'davar, zo ahavas amnon v'samar, v'she'ena teluya v'davar, zo ahavas David v'Honasan. Okay, so all love which depends on a thing, when the thing vanishes, the love also ceases. But it does not depend on anything, it will never cease. Which love depends on a thing? The love of Amnon and Tamar. And which did not depend on a thing, the love of David and Jonathan. So a little bit ambiguous, a thing, it's a very general statement to say. But the two examples given, if a love is dependent on some transient thing, and the Rambam has a different text in the Mishnah. It says, Kol avashi tuluva davar batel, batel davar batela ava. He adds one word. Any love which is dependent on some transient, fleeting thing, right? Because every love is dependent on a thing. You love or admire the love itself is a thing. It's kind of an overly general statement. But you add that one extra word, batel, on a fleeting thing. So then it makes perfect sense. So the love of Amnon and Tamar. This is a very tragic story in the family of King David, the royal family in the book of Samuel. So Amnon and Tamar are brother and sister, but Amnon has a lust for his sister, and it's a very scary story. He rapes his sister, and then now that the lust is gone, that he got his urge out, he suddenly hates her and he rejects her. So that's the classic example of his so-called love was dependent on something fleeting. He just needed to fulfill his evil lust. But also within the family of, also related to King David, platonic love, the ultimate case of platonic love, this astonishing story of David and Jonathan, who were best friends despite all odds. And there is no lust. They are platonic friends. But Jonathan is the son of King Saul, who David supplants. So King Saul was the king, and then he's found unworthy by God, and King David is going to take over for him, and Saul tries to kill King David, and King David becomes a refugee, and Saul is chasing him all over the country, all over Israel. So Jonathan is supposed to inherit the monarchy from his father. Here's this guy David, who's going to take the monarchy instead of him. Not only doesn't Jonathan hate him, but he becomes enamored with David. He becomes part of his court. And the verse says, the very soul of Jonathan was knit with the soul of David, and Jonathan loved him as his own soul. He became one of David's main followers. So a really beautiful story of true friendship and platonic love against all odds. So that's the example that the Mishnah gives of a love which is not dependent on something fleeting, but some bond between the souls of the people. Okay, so with that, we'll say the prayer following the study of Mishnah. Ana Adonai Malei Rachmim Asher B'Yadcha Nefesh Kol Chai V'Ruach Kol Basar Ish Yena L'Ratzon L'Fanecha Torasenu Tfiloseinu Ba'avor Nishmos Kol HaAskaros Shel HaLayla Ugmol Noim Mehem B'Chasar Gadol L'Ftoch Lehem Shari Rachmim V'Chesed V'Shari Gan Eden Uskabel Osam Ba'ava V'Chibo Shlach Lehem Malchecha HaKadoshim B'Tahorim L'Alichim L'Shivim Tachsei Tzachayim Eitzon Nishmos HaTzadikim B'Tzidkanios Chasidim Chasidos Lehenos Miziv Shchinascha La'aspion Mituvcha Atzafim L'Tzadikim V'Aguf Yanuach B'Kever B'Menucha Nechon B'Chedvo V'Simcha V'Shalom K'Techsiv Yavo Shalom Yanuch L'Mishkavosam Halech Nechocho. Uksiv Yazu Chasidim B'Chavod Yiranu Mishkavosam. Usivim Tishkav Lo Sivchad V'Shachafta V'Arvash Nasecha. And in English, please, O Hashem, full of mercy, for in your hand is the soul of all the living and the spirit of every human being. May you find favor in our Torah study and prayer. For the souls of Zev Barish, Sophia Cohn, Pauline Ginsberg, Meyer Peltzman, Jacob Shurin, Katie Salsky, Abe Stofsky, Ben Wainstock, and Letty Zapeta. Accept them with love and affection, and send them your holy and pure angels to lead to settle into the tree of life near the souls of the righteous and devout, to enjoy the radiance of your presence, to satiate them from your good that is concealed for the righteous. May their body repose in the grave with proper contentment, pleasure, gladness, and peace, as it is written, let him enter in peace, let them rest on their beds, everyone who has lived in his proper way. As it is written, let the devout exult in glory, let them sing joyously upon their beds. And as it is written, if you lay down, you will not fear, and you lay down or sleep will be sweet. Amen.